Well, we've all heard the stories again and again, right? How Eminem, great wisdom to bring in 50 Cent to the Interscope Records. I once didn't think that was a good fit for him. I was just like, that's too out of the ordinary. But for somebody like, let's say Eminem, it's a win-win for him. Even though D12 is from the streets, nobody took them seriously because of the way they came in the game. They didn't come in like gangsters. So they street cred was just like a bunch of book bag nerds. That's Eminem buddies. So they didn't really have a street cred, even though Proof was as street as you can get. You know, most of these dudes knew real dudes. Like 2 guys in D12 was murdered before it even got to Proof. You know, so now the situation changes. You know, now you got to deal with a whole new situation. They need a whole new image. And enter G Unit with Eminem. Dr. Dre, Jimmy Iovine was 100% against it. Everybody was against it. Eminem was very adamant in making this deal happen. So they have what's his name? Well, Rosenberg, I think his name was. What's his name? Paul Rosenberg or whatever. And who was it? It was Paul Rosenberg, and he was the one that really talked with I think Dre, and Dre was like not with it, cause everybody's like, nah, man, this is a bad move. We don't know him like that. You know, we bringing him in like that, and he was like, no, this dude, he's for real. You listen to his music, so Dre listened to him. And was like, this dude's polished. Like, he can make some noise, you know, like, he's gonna blow. He's got all this controversy going on. So, Dre was like, yeah, but, you know, he didn't want to take no risk because he's like, I just got out of a situation where it was some East and West Coast BS, and he's bringing this guy in. It could start something like that. And he didn't want that. So, Dre was like, we don't need that kind of energy. Because that when you feed into that, that's what it boils down to. So he said, you know what though, I don't want you to fall flat going in on this. I'ma come in on half. And what Dre did was go ahead and check with his peoples in New York. Everybody was checking for 50 Cent. He was the underdog, and he been held back, and now he's getting ready to blow. So everybody's anticipating it. So Dre was like, look, we make one album with this dude and we put the right energy behind it. This could be something really big. So Dre started, you know what? I'm going to come in on half. But he did that Dre. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to come in on half with you. You know, I'm going to just come in on half on the deal so you ain't got to put up everything. And he got basically, a real crappy contract, really. 50 did, out the deal. It was better than nothing. I mean, he got, $1 million signing bonus. And the rest was like, the contract was, he was basically not even seeing 50 Cent a record. He was getting almost like 10 cents a record. If that. Probably less than that. On his record deal. When you break it down, when they had to pay all these people, 50 wasn't breaking it bank like that off record sales. He was banking it off shows, appearances, and everything else in proper investments. Now, here's the news. When all of these things like worked out and came to a fruition, what everybody says, well, when it comes to fruition, when it comes to fruition like this is what happens in these situations. People make moves and they put money behind it and they move other people out the way. They moved every project out of the way that was going to come out because there was so much money put into to market 50 Cent. So it was 50 Cent's the future. 50 Cent is this, all his mixtapes. 50 had all this work they were doing for G Unit and everything else. They was in his mama's basement killing it. So everything they put out, it was off their energy of Southside. You know, these dudes was grinding, getting it in. And 50 knows hard work. See, that's what people don't see. They see the success. They don't see the work. He was in there grinding. Like 50 didn't drink. 50 was in there exercising. He don't drink. You know, he ain't smoking weed. But he gonna make a song say, I get high all the time. I get high all the time. Because people smoke. He came at it with a business approach. So, when he came in the game, the first thing they were doing to really cause a friction between Dre and 50. This was the first time they really had like a disagreement where things was kind of weird. And this is when they were making the video for In the Club. Dre didn't show up, and it was M out there basically by himself with D12 and a couple other dudes, the security guys. Dre left and didn't tell nobody. Dre showed up, waited for his security, his bodyguards and them showed up. They kind of got wind like Suge was here and he's coming back. And Dre was like, Pew! Like he was gone. It was like, what's going on? What he run for? You know, like, why is Dre gone? And then it was like, Suge back. Dre was already gone. So they had to wait till Suge was gone. Security cleared everything out, and Dre did his little part in the lab with Eminem. And then he was done. His little one-day thing, he was out. But this would kind of rub 50 the wrong way. Like, man, Dre knew something because he broke out. And he didn't say, like, y'all, look. You know, like, look, Suge may be coming. So, good luck. You know, I mean, anything. He didn't say nothing. He just out of there. He left M. It's like, dude, you left Eminem out here. This your main artist. And you just left him in the wind? So that kind of gave a sign to the type of person that he was. So after the fact, they go to the where did they go? They went to Detroit to do a show. Eminem went to Detroit and they went and did their show. And I think Dr. Dre was there but never came out when nobody could see him. And 50 like, come on, Dre, man, like, let's do this. Nah, man, I'm going to just stay in the studio with the tracks. Yeah, y'all go out and do y'all thing. I'm going to stay right here and work on these tracks. So, it was taking Dre so long with, like, so many tracks that they did. Like, they recorded, like, about 30 songs to Get Rich or Die Trying. That's why you saw so many come out later on. For Get Rich or Die Trying, they just cut all those songs off because they was waiting on Dre. Bloodhound and all them songs that got cut off, you know, they just put them out on an EP. Once the album was selling, everybody was 50 Cent crazy. So they was like, throw them songs on a mixtape and put them out. That was 50's idea. Dre didn't want to do nothing. He was like, man, this dude don't work. Tupac and 50 Cent got that in common. They're workaholics. They will stay in the studio and they will work and get some things done. This Dre is somebody who's a perfectionist. He's going to want to sit there to wait till things get done right, which is going to cause some people not to know, to work with you different. 50 don't want to rock the boat, at this point with Dre, but he vibes with M because they MCs, like they get it. So he would prefer M make the track. Like M, you work the beat. M, you do this and do that, and then we could do like Batman and Robin, like you and Dre did it, when they did Gatman and all this stuff. So the success was going pretty well, but they couldn't get Dre's cooperation for the second album a lot. When they trying to get this things done, and they're like, well, where's Dre? Like, oh, well, Dre ain't doing nothing today, or Dre's not doing this, Dre's working on that, and he got Detox he working on. Of course, we know how this goes, right? No Detox. 50 Cent does 2 records for the Dre Detox album. Nothing happens. And then the song that was supposed to be on his album, Dre did like 1 beat. It wasn't finished right. So it was hot already. Somebody stole it or whatever. So it was out leaked. And it wasn't even completed yet. So 50 was upset a little bit about that. And like, man, we ain't even finished mixing it down. Like it's not even finished. He's like, Dre, I don't even know how it got leaked. And, things happened from there. Where it was a couple of discussions. And Dre is the kind of guy that you can't get in an argument with. Because Dre's not going to argue with you. Dr. Dre will not argue. Old Dr. Dre would have probably punched somebody, but Dre don't drink anymore. Dre ain't had a drink in about 20 years. So Dr. Dre don't argue with people. As the liquor was part of the reason he was probably arguing with people back in the past. To now, he don't argue with people. That's just it. He don't argue with nobody. His thing is, hey, if it's going to happen, let it be. That's just it. So if you have a discussion, he'd be like, okay, you upset. All right. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, man, I get it. And that's it. Dre ain't finna go back and forth with you. But Dre gonna still do his process his way. So you gotta know how Dre works. So M would be the mediator to go tell 50, like, look, that's Dre, Dre, I'm with you. I get it. But, it's Dre. What you gonna do? A song produced by Dr. Dre gonna be huge. So if you got one song from Dre on your album, just roll with that. And whatever you got by final press day, that's what we gonna come out with. So the launch don't go the way everybody expected. So they scrambling to do something to try to, keep up with sales. So they re-released the album with videos for every song for the Massacre. 50 he wasn't happy with the launch because even though it sold like 5 million records coming out the gate, basically, they could have gotten more. It could have sold another like 10 and then plus, and did bigger than Get Rich or Die Trying. Then he comes with the soundtrack for the movie of Get Rich and Die Trying. That came like right after that. That's how many songs they had for that album. Dre at this time was basically working on other stuff, other projects. He's trying to go into another thing with technology, with the headphones, with the beats. Now, before that happened, the game situation happened. And once the game situation happened, this is where Dr. Dre and 50 Cent, this is now it's going to come to a head. Because he wanted, look, let me just he wanted Dre to sell his percentage to Eminem. And he wanted him to buy the percentage out. Like, look, I'll be 100% on Shady Records. Dre ain't getting nothing with Aftermath. And I just get paid exclusively. I'd rather you get the money than me giving something to Dre because of this game situation. He basically staying neutral in a situation where I'm the bigger star. And that's how 50's seen it. And in Dre's mind, he's looking like Game just sold 4-5 million records. And I got a way bigger piece of the pie with Game, because I don't got to split none of the Game money with Eminem. That's all me. So if Game making money, I'm making a lot more on the back end. I ain't got to split none with Eminem. This all me. Because he signed the Aftermath. He ain't signed the shady Aftermath. Game signed with Aftermath. So what he did was his idea to bring 50 in to help Game along. Because Game was there the whole time when they was doing it in the club. He's in the club video and everything. So when they made the deal to bring 50 in as a partner, they didn't even bring Eminem in. They brought 50. Like, yeah, we want to put him with G-Unit. And 50 okayed it. Like, okay, but even though he didn't fully agree with it because Jimmy and 50 don't really see eye to eye. But 50 put business before anything else. Like, look, we ain't really got that big of a problem. We just got associates that you associated with people I don't deal with. That's basically Jimmy's interaction is with 50. They didn't really see eye to eye because of the associations. So, but for business sake, they got something in interest, which was Game. Look, let's all sit down, do business, which they did. And everything was good until they had that fallout. Then Dre is like, man, I'm just going to play the sideline. They made 50 and Game patch everything up because they didn't want to ruin what they already had. Instead of saying somebody need to check Game and pull Game to the side. Because 50's like, look, this dude's out here bashing us. You know what I'm saying? Like, out here going after our neck, and you out here basically co-signing it. You're not saying nothing about it. You just letting it go on. And they tearing up G-Unit. This is my thing. You know, G-Unit is not signed to Aftermath. G-Unit, it goes straight to Interscope. That don't go nothing with Aftermath Records. It's not even Shady Records. Because Eminem, he asked Eminem, he said, you know what, I'll give you a piece of G-Unit. Because, and M said, no, man, you worked hard for that. That's millions of dollars Eminem turned down and gave back to 50 Cent. It was worth at least 20 something million dollars that he gave away by saying those words. Said, no, you worked hard and built that. That's yours. I don't want it. You keep it. That's what Eminem did for 50. Now, by doing that, 50 was able to keep an extra $20+ million. Now, Dre, on the other hand, don't get nothing from G-Unit. But here, in this situation, Dre produced the first song on G-Unit album when G-Unit was coming out. He wanted to be a part of that wave with Interscope when they was coming out. Even though they didn't want the G-Unit album to come out till later, till after 50 put out his second album. But no, 50 was no. Here is my deal. Right here. I'm going to do G-Unit, and that's what we finna do. So he put out the G-Unit record. And when he put out the G-Unit records, he got the song from Dre. He got like 2 songs from Dre that Dre was working on for the G-Unit album. So everything was good. And I told you, it only happened once Game came in there and Dre didn't pick sides. He didn't make a stance. He was like, man, I told him to cut it out. It's like, well, dude, he ain't cutting it out. He's still sabotaging me. So 50 had a talk with Dr. Dre, and Dre was like, "That's your fault. That's your fault." You know, and he was like, "Man, we trying to get Dre back on the phone again, because he's like, I want him to explain himself. Like, what do you mean it's my fault? You know, what does he mean? Well, that's you. That's what you did. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, that's on you." So everybody like, what in the world is this? And what happened was he was letting Game come out to his house. Game been in his crib. 50 overextended himself to Game to put him in G Unit. So that when Game got success, his head got big. He thought he was the biggest thing, and he thought he bigger than 50 Cent. So now you got a problem within that union that you asked me to put him in. So now he's ruining my other thing that has nothing to do with you, Dre. But you brought a cancer into my unit, and that is affecting my sales. Now you're affecting G Unit sales. And then Jimmy saw this as an opportunity to destroy 50 Cent in New York. Because it went to, we ain't going to do nothing, to all of a sudden Game's coming out with mixtape after mixtape after mixtape. It was like, we got a buzz. We got an opportunity to do something here. And then Game 50 is looking at at Dre like, well, we could part ways right now. And then this would be the end of me being with 50 Cent and, with Shady Aftermath Records, if that's the case. Because if you're going to allow this guy to try to destroy what I built, what choice are you giving me? So when they went back and they saw Game put out another mixtape, he was, Dre, look, this is what you put out. And threw the mixtape on the floor, he's like, look, this is what calming it down did. And then Dre got MIA. Could nobody find Dre? Everybody trying to call Dre, could nobody find Dre? They was like, man, what Dre gonna do to handle this? Oh, man, Dre in the room. Dre didn't do anything at this time but run like a little mouse and avoid 50 calls. Oh, man, I was busy, man. I just wanted to let you know I got your message. Me and Jimmy gonna take care of this. So what they did was they had to sit down with the Game. They had Buster in there trying to talk to him. Because Buster told him, you tripping, you bugging. You bugging right now, youngin'. Listen to me. I've been there. Okay, I tell you what it's like. So he started talking to him and Game, no, G. No, he disrespect me, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? I was out there overseas grinding. I had a moment. And then I come back and I'm kicked out of G Unit. But it's Black Wall Street for life. So Dre told him, okay, we got to let you go. We can't put you under Aftermath. For 50, it's going to cause a problem there. We don't want to lose that money either. So what we going to do is we're going to put you under our other parent label, which is Given Records, and we'll work out this G Unit thing. So they had to pay his management team, Game's management team, have to pay 50 Cent like almost $1 million to keep the G Unit logo off of the record. So, as part of the deal they had with 50 Cent, which was still pending for like 3 albums. So they were like, all right, they had to pay that in advance so that the project would even be released. Once that happened, and they realized they still had to pay 50 Cent, even though they moved to Giffen Records, the assaults just kept coming. They still trying to destroy 50 Cent, even though they own Giffen Records. And Dre like, he off Aftermath. What more you want me to do? But he's like, look, we not stupid. He's still out there. You still eating off of Game. Dre ain't finna miss out on no money. That's just what it is. Like, look, we took him off Aftermath. And Dre didn't give him no songs. And Dre was like, I'm not putting no records on his album. He got to do it on his own now over there on Giffen Records. So it was a while before Dre would even be seen back with Game. But here's the thing. Dre never came out and publicly said nothing about Game. And 50 Cent was like, my goodness, this dude just, well, all right, well, it's gone. So I could deal with it how I want to. So now that the situation was like that, he understood his position with Dre. Because he was like, you know what, I looked at Dre different when I first came in, like, we're a family. But we really wasn't. So that's when it was like, look, Dre. I never been in Dr. Dre house. He's like, I've been knowing Dre for years. I never took a foot in Dr. Dre house. And he was like, I don't know if M has. He was like, but I looked at it differently. I looked at it like we brothers. You know, we trying to accomplish the same things. So obviously, you know, we seeing things differently. And from that point, that's when they had a sit down, and that's when Eminem album was coming out, and then they came out with the promotion, the mixtape, and they were getting ready to come out with what they call the three-head monster. It was going to be 50's album, Eminem album, then Dre's album. And it was called, no, it was Eminem, 50, then Dre. The three-head monster. They was coming out back to back to back. So Eminem album comes out. And this when 50 was beefing with Lil Wayne. They had worked things out. He had been working with Dre. You know, this was it. This was the project. Things is finna come together. This was for his final album on Interscope. And they worked together in Detroit. Like, it was like, man, okay, we back together. And Dre was there while, like, listening to the songs 50 did. Like, man, it's tight. Whew, man, it's dope. So 50 got to the point where, okay, we back cool. You know, like Dre back in a good space. I just needed to know where Dre was mentally. About how he, they went to the side and he talked to him. He was like, hey, Dre, yeah, I want to talk to you for a minute. Now, in the gang situation, I'm going to tell you, when you made the choice, and I told you, if you you made the wrong decision, that it would be time for me to move and make a move. And when I make a move, it's final. I wasn't going to come back. So, I just wanted to let you know that I understand your situation now. See, I looked at it not from as professional, but I looked at it more like a family. And oh no, we good. No, okay. I just wanted to know what it was because before I understand it now, but when we first was I was still young in that process. In the streets is a little different, so I had to try to adjust myself to the way people move in the industry. So it was a little different energy. With me and him, we have a whole different energy than with Dre. So now I got your energy. Everything's good. But another situation occurred where these headphones came into play. Dre and Jimmy Iovine is coming out with the headphones. They want to hire and give a percentage, a little bit, to Eminem to come market them. But Jimmy and Dr. Dre, they first went into a streaming service. Then they turned it into headphones. And was like, you know what? We're not trying to make like streaming services and all that stuff right now. Like we trying to make in gym shoes. We're trying to go into headphones. That's where the new technology, that's where the money's at. And 50 was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. And then he went ahead and came out with Sleek. And Dre didn't care until Jimmy cared. And Jimmy cared a lot. Because, see, Jewish people do that all the time. They wasn't used to having that done to them by a black guy. And that leads into the other story you're going to hear with 50 Cent versus Jimmy Iovine in Interscope. And we're going to leave it right there. And I'm out. Oh, yeah, and subscribe. And hit one of these 3 videos, join the playlist, and go search the videos and get caught up.